we're ready to get started now. So, good morning, everyone. I'm so thrilled that you are here to join us today. I am Ashley Stevens. I am supporting this here event, moderating here for you. I work with the newly created Ochsner Career Center, which supports our employees in their own journey. So when you come and join Ochsner, what a great addition to be able to take what you're learning and come to the Career Center and learn about how to build a resume and practice your interview skills, just like at whatever school you're attending. It's the same idea. We are also joined today by a number of other superstar panelists who I'm going to go through right now and do a quick introduction. So first, we're going to start with Ms. Fay Campo, who just introduced herself to us. Ms. Fay Campo is the manager in the talent management department, and she oversees our fellowships and this Catalyst internship program. They have been such an important part of any of your communications you've seen about the internship. She'll be looking at all of your applications, and we're really excited that she's here today to tell us more about this Catalyst internship program. So wave hello to us, Faye, for any of our new attendees who just got with us.
Hello, everyone.
Next, I'm going to go introduce Ms. Inez Jordan. Hi, Inez.
Hello.
She is a regional diversity and inclusion director under our newly created diversity and inclusion office, headed by our CEO, Deborah Grimes, our chief diversity and inclusion officer, Deborah Grimes, excuse me. Really thrilled to have her join us today to tell us a little bit more about the innovative work Ochsner's doing and the value of this internship, especially right now. And you know, the cultural and political environment that we're in, she's going to be able to speak to how great an opportunity it is to work at Ochsner for that. We're also joined by Ashley Bankston. She is a senior recruiter in our talent acquisition department. So Ashley helps support recruitment for both the students applying to this internship, as well as adults ready to get into their full-time or part-time positions. Ashley will speak to how to apply in a couple practices for your resume and application for this internship program. And finally, we are also joined now by the lovely Tiara, and I'm so glad you were able to make it work, Tiara. Hi. Tiara was a past participant in the Catalyst internship program, and so she's going to share a little bit of information about what her experience was like at some point. And those are our superstar panelists. As I said, I'm Ashley Stevens. If you're just joining us, I'm here to support and moderate this event for you all. I'll be answering questions throughout the event. If you put your questions in the bottom Q&A box, not the chat. If you just want to say hello, by all means, the chat is fine. This webinar is being recorded. It's also being streamed for us to use for the future. So any of those individuals who wanted to join but couldn't join because they had class or something, they'll be able to see it in the future. I'd love to get started and get there to jump into the information, starting first with the source, Ms. Fay. So let's get rolling here. Tell us about what is the Catalyst internship program. Everyone who's joined this webinar probably knows, as they've already registered, but tell us a little bit about the program and at Ochsner and what students can expect from it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley, too, for hosting us today. Appreciate you. The Catalyst program has been arranged to provide students with direct mentorship while they are provided hands-on experience in a healthcare setting to allow them to obtain the knowledge of the healthcare industry. In addition to that, to be able to provide them opportunity to identify skills that they can develop during this 8-week program.
Absolutely. I think the skill development and the awareness of opportunities in healthcare, those are both critical. You know, we were talking before we started going live. I have a classical piano degree and had no intention or idea that I could ever have a job in healthcare. And so it goes to show that no matter what you study, you know, developing the skills and figuring out what you could do to contribute to healthcare, the healthcare industry, can be for any degree program across any any age group, any interest area, really anyone can get a job here. And I'm proof of that. So
Agreed.
to elaborate a bit on some more of the benefits and the things that students would experience in this program firsthand, whether that's in their departments or with their mentor. Just kind of give us a little bit deeper dive.
Absolutely. So what I mentioned earlier is it would be a one-on-one mentorship that the students would be obtaining in the particular department and area, which we will be looking to align interns to be able to, align them with the mentoring department. They would actually have peer interaction as well too, networking. We have online and hopefully we will move to in-class, in-person training and development. Also, as you mentioned earlier, with healthcare being the largest industry, but Ochsner also being the largest one not-for-profit employer in the state, the opportunities are endless to come and join us here for this Catalyst program.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh,
So
and by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elsie. It's paid well too.
yeah,
It's a paid internship as well too.
very important to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so students, if you're listening to this and you're normally thinking about getting a summer job, a summer or a part-time job, why don't you divert your attention here to this paid internship opportunity to gain both hands-on experience in a professional setting with people who are innovating healthcare and pushing it forward for Louisiana and Mississippi right in the middle of a pandemic. We are still in the thick of it and we are still actively fighting it. Ochsner is at the forefront of seeing that through and helping Louisiana and the Mississippi Gulf Coast reach healing through this situation, right?
And Ashley, I'm sorry, to be a great, to be a part of an organization, but also be on the forefront of what healthcare is all about right now is to take care of our community. It's an exciting time right now to be in healthcare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Faye, if you wouldn't mind, can you touch on what are the regions, some of the regions where students could potentially work or, you said some are virtual, some may be some in-person work. So just kind of touch on where students could expect opportunities to be.
Absolutely. So we would be covering the greater New Orleans region. We'd also be doing placing interns into the Bayou area. So Raceland, Homa, also in Monroe. We have our Baton Rouge facility. We have North Shore, which includes Slidell, Covington, and also Mississippi. And we also are including Shreveport and Monroe in that that availability for students to be placed in. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. The stretch of opportunities for students all over the state is such a great opportunity for students who might be living at home right now in one of those regions. Just a little bit easier, and nice to know that you could get to support your local Ochsner facility that's right there in your backyard. I think one more question for you, Faye, before we turn to Inez.
Yeah.
Can you give us a couple of examples of some of the departments that'll be taking interns in all of those regional areas?
Absolutely. I may have to cheat a little bit and look at my paper because there's so many, but I'll try to do them off the top of my head. So we have obviously our HR, and want to express too that as, we go through this program, we have several of our best of the best leaders that want to sign up and mentor young professionals. So this is what opens up the opportunity in several departments. So we have HR, which includes our talent management, talent acquisition, compensation, workforce development. So that encompasses, so Ochsner's HR department is huge, to say the least. We will also be taking candidates in our diversity and inclusion. So Inez might be able to talk a little bit more about that. Supply chain, which basically oversees all of Ochsner's supplies. So during this COVID, PPE equipment that was needed, which they've been top notch. So just being a part of those departments that I mentioned. Accounting, finance, we have to run a business. So having someone oversee the financial part of money coming in and money going out. Let me think of what else as I think through this. Security also as well. We have to keep our employees and our patients safe. So we have that. And then also we have community health and urgent care. Our centers that are opening up into our underserved communities. So we're looking to place some interns there as well too. And that's just to name a few.
That's just a few, students. Did you hear that? That's just a few places where you could maybe work. Well, thank you, Faye, for that. What sounded to me actually like a pretty comprehensive list of opportunities for students. And, you know, students, as you think through what are your interest areas, it doesn't always have to be what your exact degree program is. Again, I didn't get an HR degree. Now the natural progression would be if you are studying HR makes the most sense. But if you're getting a business degree or an accounting degree, don't be straight away from considering another opportunity in another department, because you might have right transferable skills that would be great for that department. So you can think broadly about what that is. And we'll talk more about the application process and how all that matching will happen later on in the event. Thank you so much, Faye. I appreciate all your input. Now, Inez, I want to turn to you now and give the students a little bit of that value of working at Ochsner. From your perspective and your role and all your years here, I think it'd be really important for them to hear why this would be a really unique and valuable experience for them in their journey.
Absolutely. So, you know, I think I probably would start maybe with asking our participants, and I want you to settle in on this question: who are you? And I want you to keep that at your core, because a part of our work here at Ochsner is employer in the state. The population of the state is diverse. The population of our patients are diverse. And what we're looking for is for people to come in to work with us who at their core are exploring themselves, want to unleash their talent, add their creativity and innovation. From things everywhere from doing COVID and telemedicine and how that expanded, and you knowing what your community is afraid of, what they need in access, what they're looking for. And so I think one of the most valuable reasons to join Ochsner is because you get a chance to explore who you are. Selfishly, I want you to come over and stay full time, right? I may look young on TV, but I'm looking for the next person to take my spot, right? And do this job and every job I've ever had better than I ever could. But whether or not this is your last destination, to come into a place where you have managers that are absolutely devoted to your success. I get a chance to have a Catalyst intern this summer. Okay, I'm grateful for that. I'm excited. And to really start to dig into how you bring value. Like, what are you good at? What you don't like? And I think the fact that Faye is talking about this multidisciplinary approach, where you're not just have to go to HR or IS, or there's a lot of different opportunities for you to see and to learn, exploring your talent now in a safe place where you can make a mistake and it's okay because we got you, right? That's what your managers and your teams are for. To be able to explore our resource groups. And I happen to be the president of one of them, to see a whole population of employees that are dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really dedicated to people being authentic, showing up as you are to work and being in an environment where you can do that and feel good.
Wow, I absolutely could not have said it better myself, Inez. Thank you so much for sharing. And you know, something you said really resonated with me, where you said, where you can show up and be free to make a mistake. You know, you're in an environment that's safe. You are not here. And, you know, an internship is not the same as a full-time job. It is an educational experience that partners education and learning with real, practical, hands-on experience in the comfort of professionals who can guide you. And y'all, as soon as you're not a student, you won't get that opportunity again. It is such a beneficial experience to be able to just show up and sort of make all the mistakes right there with someone who's willing to talk you through, you know, why that happened and how you could resolve that in the future. And something else you said was that really resonated with me was that we are in an environment that you can be vulnerable in, and you know that you have really a lot of attention, and that from leaders. And we've seen that even from our own CEO, you know, who upon reflecting on the last year and how it's impacted Ochsner, I mean, he came to a few tears just on how it impacted our staff and our region. And you really truly see the commitment to healthcare, the commitment to health access, the commitment to changing the name for opportunities in healthcare for our own citizens here. It's really, everything you spoke to just resonates well with me. I know I've been in internships where I didn't have those things. I didn't have really a safe space to mess up. They treated me much more like a full-time employee and didn't get a lot of education. And I think that's really the most beautiful, interesting, and important part about being able to join Ochsner for this Catalyst internship program. So thank you so much, Inez, for sharing. And, you know, students, if you want to be reflecting on some of the qualities that make you who you are, and you want to put those in the chat for all of our panelists to sort of read about you and hear a little bit more about you, this is a great place to start telling us who you are. And we'll do our best to respond and reflect on them, but take the opportunity because we're here to listen to you. Now, I'd love to turn to one of our Catalyst past interns, Tiara. I'm so excited to see your shining, smiling face over there. I would love for you to tell the group here a little bit about your experience as a past intern in the Catalyst program.
Sure. So I was a Catalyst intern last summer, 2020, and I got the opportunity to be put with the patient experience department. And going into this internship, it was like my very first experience with any type of job. So I figured it would be like running errands and getting coffee and filing paperwork. But the first day of the internship, I was totally wrong because the first day we were right to work. We traveled to the North Shore, and I attended some coaching sessions with my mentor, who was Paige Brett. And I sat through her meetings and I got a feel for where her job duties were.
Well, that's fantastic. Getting shocked by how much more opportunity you got, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't mind getting coffee if they're going to let me have a free coffee in that coffee run, right? But it's not exactly anything different than we might do for ourselves in the middle of finals. So that's so good to know that you got to be right there, right in the meeting with your leader. Can you reflect on any specific projects that you might have done that you got to have a firsthand input into seeing them through in your program?
Sure. So one of my biggest projects was working on patient belongings, a way to improve that we don't lose them as often or misplace them. So I came up with the idea of mobile lockers. So patients often change rooms, and when they do, their belongings usually get misplaced. So the mobile locker is a way for the belongings to travel with the patients as they exchange rooms.
Wow. I'm sort of wondering how that didn't exist before. That is such a really interesting project, Tiara. And how fascinating that is something that can impact every single patient that we interact with. And just a simple idea of a traveling mobile station. And Tiara, let me ask you, did they implement your project?
So I actually had to present this project to the entire patient experience department. And after I presented it, they all liked my idea, and they're gonna work with tweaking some things about it, but they all liked it overall.
Wow. Okay. So You're hearing it firsthand right here. You could be the student that changes the game at Ochsner. That could be you. That could be you. One idea, you know, everyone has good ideas, and everyone at every age at any experience level could be the difference between a patient's experience on a difficult day when they're getting surgery. And Tiara, as an intern, was able to help make that happen. That's incredible, Tiara. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before we turn back to our recruiter here in just a moment, Tiara, tell us what's going now at Ochsner.
I am now a safety advocate for some of the local urgent cares. So what my job is, I'm the first person that patients see once they enter the urgent care. So I have to greet them accordingly. And I also take their temperatures, and then I direct them to where they need to go and answer any questions that I could possibly answer.
Well, that is an incredibly important job. And I remember you telling me that you were interested in moving a little more into patient care in your future. Is that right? Will you tell the group what your future at Ochsner might look like?
Sure. So going into this internship, I was in the middle of finishing my degree at Dillard University with public health. And I know I wanted to choose the healthcare because it's going to always be around. So I didn't know exactly where in the healthcare I wanted to be, but during the internship, I'm full of connections as I was traveling with my coach. And I decided that I would like to become an MA, which is a medical assistant. And being that I am a safety advocate, I work in the urgent care very closely with those medical assistants. And I've been doing it for about 6 months already, and I've already learned a lot.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is fantastic. We're so excited to see that future come to light for you, and love to see the story of how you were able to make an impact just from day one as an intern. You're getting to make an impact in patients' lives now. And you're going to keep making that impact in patients' lives. And that, students, our core values, our number one core value is patients first. And Tiara, you are such an incredible example to that. So claps for you in a quiet way so I don't mess up the Zoom recording.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Tiara. We are going to move to telling you a little bit about how to apply. I see a lot of questions have come through, so hopefully many of them will get answered now. We will also do Q&A at the end after we give Ashley a chance to speak. So we'll answer, if you have any questions, start to be thinking about them now, put them in the Q&A now. And then I'll divert them, I'll push them to whoever I think is the right responder as they come through. So Ashley, as we start to wrap up here, tell the students how can they apply and what they should do to help make their application stand out. And I will be pulling up that slide for you.
Sure.
Too.
Wonderful. So, absolutely, we have this position listed on our careers page. We're going to flash that link for you shortly. The deadline to apply into this Catalyst internship is February 21st. So plenty of time to get in there if you've done it yet, to go in and click and express your interest. We do have limited spots this year, but that doesn't mean if you aren't selected for this specific opportunity that you can't look at other opportunities with Ochsner. We have part-time positions throughout our system. As mentioned at the beginning of our call, I know we spoke very highly about our fitness center and their renovations. Also, part-time fitness associates with them. We also have temperature screening monitors at a lot of our facilities that are more of a part-time as needed basis, which are flexible and sometimes can work around schedules. And also at lots of full-time roles throughout the system as well. I think one thing to think of when you're applying to this type of internship is, sometimes you might be coming in with limited working experience, but I think highlighting some of the things that you do in school and group projects and ideas you have and how you've participated in those group projects and what your contributions were are oftentimes wonderful things to highlight when you're applying to an internship. I think if you're so lucky to get an internship, providing the examples of how you contributed your ideas to those on your applications and on your resume, I think are great things to highlight as well.
Ashley, absolutely. As I work in the Career Center for, and I can attest to that, it's absolutely critical that you can think through how you add value and what you have achieved, not just tasks you've accomplished.
Mhm.
So thinking about, as an example, I'm a naturally extroverted person, if anyone couldn't tell. And I tend to be a natural leader in my group settings. And that in itself is a quality that is valuable for a leader to know. It's also important to know that you might have some weaknesses, and how you tend to overcome those weaknesses. In an interview setting, that will almost certainly be a question asked. One of my weaknesses is I am not naturally super organized. I can just admit it. Everyone says they're all organized, but we all need to agree. We're just not all organized. However, I have come to find skills and strategies that make me incredibly organized at work on the things it matters about. So it's good to be able to understand your strengths and how you could add value, as well as your weakness and how you overcome them. And I think any examples, as Ashley mentioned, of group work and ways you've collaborated, ways that you've been able to see a project through from start to finish, those are all incredible examples of things we're going to be looking for on your application. Thank you so much, Ashley. If you're looking at the screen right now, we've put some opportunities there, and Faye listed so many more when she spoke. But right in the middle is a QR code. If you open up your smartphone and you open up to the camera and just hover over it, just point your camera at it, at the top should appear a link, and you can click on it and it will take you right to that application page. If, however, you're having trouble with that, just go to that link at the bottom, ochsner.org/careers. And then there's a place to find jobs, and you can search Catalyst and it'll be there as well. On the right-hand side are all those locations we mentioned, and I think Faye may have mentioned one or two others as well. Now, let's jump into some question and answer. I've gotten some that I said I'm going to answer live, if you've seen that on your question. And we'll type some out. You know, we may, if we think of any more, y'all just go ahead and put them in. So let's ask this question, and I'll start with you, Faye. India Price wants to know if the internships are only available to individuals currently in school, or can you be a graduate?
It's a fantastic question. Thank you, India, for that. So the program has been established for juniors and seniors of undergrad, and then our graduate students. However, we've had other additional students that apply because they're in between just graduating and trying to obtain employment. I say go ahead and apply. And Ashley Bankston mentioned earlier that we have several other opportunities, and so those are available as well. So we will, with all the candidate pool that we'll be having apply, we'll actually go through them and then sort through them on what they may be more interested in other than the internship, and we'll try to align you. So yes, go ahead and apply. And we'll reach back out to you, whether it be for the fellowship or it's for another opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, HR works very in partnership together just to make sure we are addressing the needs of our students as well as our community on those searching for positions within our organization.
Great. Thank you for that information, Faye. If anyone has any more clarifying questions related to that, feel free to drop them in the Q&A.
Please. Thank you.
This next question, I'd love for Inez to take, because I just think, Inez, you respond with just such a wonderful response earlier that I would love to hear your thoughts. Amani asked, I would love the chance to experience this internship. What are y'all looking for in applicants? And while our recruiter already gave some of her practical ideas, I thought you might be able to help us think through, you know, what's the ideal candidate, or some, you know, what makes a great person who's a contribution to Ochsner.
So I think maybe the first quality that I would be looking for is someone who's just curious. Like you really have a curious, wondering mind. You want to kind of see the world from a different perspective. When you see something that intrigues you, you dig deeper, like how does that work? Why is that? I think that part of it, just being curious, is one of the top qualities that I've always enjoyed when I work with interns. I think the other thing that is critical to this is, and you don't have to necessarily have this skill, but you'll get it as you go through an internship program, is a sense that you bring value right now in this moment with exactly, you know exactly who you are, exactly where you've been in your life. You bring value right now. And so an intern who learns how to kind of let that out, to take up more space, to get involved, right? To learn how to navigate and influence. And if you're curious and willing to learn, I think that's really that passion about really trying to make a difference and learn takes care of almost everything else can be taught. It's that passion and curiosity. If you come in the door with that, everything else we can help with.
That was the perfect answer, Inez, and I knew you would be the best person to respond to that. Absolutely, you guys, this phrase she said, to take up more space, to think about, you know, don't undersell yourself as a contribution. Think about Tiara's story. I mean, she might change the way we approach surgery and patient care during surgery days for the eternity. That could just be from her experience. So anyone can have the opportunity to make a contribution, and we want to hear your voice, and we want to get your opinions. We want to get your creative ideas. So that was exactly what we're looking for. Now, a couple of tactical questions here, and I'm getting a lot of questions in, so we're going to do our best before I have to let my panelists go here, but we've got a lot of time now left. Sarah Power asked, would they have a choice in where in the state they would be placed? And I think, Faye, could you speak a little bit about, there's some other questions kind of similar. Could you speak a little about that form you'll have them use as part of the process to do match?
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. So we will be sending out an assessment to all of the candidates that have applied. And the assessment will help us, one, identify your skills, will help us with alignment of the mentor and department you have an interest in, and alignment with your possible major, as well as location, because we want to make sure that you are in, a close proximity to where you're living to help minimize travel. I think there was one other question, if I can recall, regarding remote work.
Right.
It will definitely depend on the department that is offering that opportunity. And there are several departments that are offering remote work. And so that will be included in the assessment.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was going to add that question as well as part of your response. So thank you.
No worries.
One you might be good for, Faye. Someone asked, when does the internship start and end? How many hours a week is it? So a couple logistics as people are trying to make summer plans.
Great. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for those questions. So it is an 8-week program. Interns will start May 31st and it runs through July 30th. The week of July 5th, all interns will have off. And I forgot, I'm so sorry. What was the other question?
I think how many hours a week and how long would it run? When would it start and end?
I knew I missed that. Thank you. It is a 32-hour week, Monday through Thursday. Interns have off on Fridays. And as I mentioned, 8 weeks, starts May 31st through July 30th with the week of July 5th off.
Well, perfect. That gives them a guaranteed week for beach or whatever they're going to be doing, hiking. That's what I'm doing in this socially distanced world, out in the mountains where nobody is. And y'all having Friday off, just such a great benefit, right? Get those long 3-day weekends to do all your fun summer things. We've got a number of other questions. I'm trying to answer them as we go. Brayley Simon asks, how many interns will be chosen? And I was gonna, before Faye responds, I think it's important to note that if you are attending this session today and you have a degree in computer science or software or another similar information systems degree, we will be having another event just like this, but with a few different panelists speaking exclusively to the internship opportunities within our IS division. That will be tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
Correct.
Registration link is on Facebook. It's in Handshake. We put it at places. It's in the Workday job itself, if I'm not mistaken, Ashley. And so we can put information, if you're interested, let us know in the chat and I'll stick the link to register there. But Faye, if you could speak a little about how many interns, you know, what that could look like for someone.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will be hiring 50 interns this summer. And as Ashley mentioned, we, again, will collaborate on, you know, the candidates that are not chosen for the internship, because there's so many other opportunities throughout the summer here at Ochsner and beyond. I want to add that because as Tiara mentioned, you know, she has moved into another role, you know, completing her internship. So we don't want to discourage anybody with the number. Just think and focus on, you know, making sure that once that assessment gets to you, that you are clear on what you're looking for, because then we can help align you, whether it be for the internship or for other opportunities throughout the organization.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, thank you for that. We would love to see you tomorrow if an area of interest for you is in information systems. So that would be anything with hardware or software, the programs that support our primary softwares, or any kind of maybe some data and analytics team, as well as our IS training team, which might be related to someone who has an HR degree. So we're going to have some other panelists on tomorrow's event. And before we leave here, I will put that information in the chat. So if that's an event you're interested in, you could attend tomorrow as well. I've got a couple of questions left. And one I would love for Tiara to respond to is just for her. And this person, Ben asked, based off what Tiara said, is there an easy way to transition into working for Ochsner full/part-time after completing the internship? And I'll adjust that and say, maybe what was your experience in that transition? And Ashley Bankston, you might have some other thoughts as well. But if Tiara, will you tell us a little bit about that transition?
Sure. So as I was nearing the last week of my internship, they sent out an email saying that there was a possible opportunity for you guys to continue being an Ochsner employee. So I took the first opportunity that I could get and I accepted the job to become a safety advocate.
So did you find that you got some help along the way and your leaders were helpful for you in that process?
Yes, so the patient experience department was really excited with me. They wanted to keep me any way they can with Ochsner. And the transition from the internship to a full-time job was pretty smooth and easy. Great.
Thank you, Tiara. And Ashley, do you have any thoughts for how people transition? What's that process kind of look like on the back end from your perspective?
Sure. I think one thing that's really special about this internship is that you get to participate with the department that you're chosen for. But you also get the opportunity to still, reach out and work with other departments and leaders and utilize your connections throughout this process and use your mentor to kind of direct you and ways to, or what might be a good fit for you. We always have positions open to apply once the internship is over. it kind of just depends on where you want to go. Are you graduating? Are you looking for full-time? Are you looking for part-time? And kind of as you're wrapping up, kind of making that decision on how you want to pursue your future with us, utilizing your relationships, and then also utilizing our systems to be able to look and search for, what works best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the Ochsner Career Center is available to employees, and that will not be different for the interns who are officially Ochsner employees who can help you in that transition. And Tiara is probably thinking, why wasn't that around when I was here? We have just been established this at the end of last year. And we will still take you now, Tiara, if you ever want to come see us. But we will be here to help you think about how do I apply the projects I've completed in this internship and make them transferable for the job that I'm interested in applying for. And I think the most important thing anyone can do in an internship is meet as many people as you can. Speak up, and I love what that phrase you said, Inez, again, is take up more room, take up more space, and meet as many people as you can. The more people know about what you're interested in, the more likely they'll be able to help you figure out how to get to that destination. And there are no lack of people to help. At 31,000 employees, we have lots and lots of people to help you. So nothing's different there. Well, I've got a few more questions, but I want to give our panelists each a minute to just offer any last words or any last pieces of advice. And then students, I will remain on and Faye will remain on to answer more of your questions as they come in. So you don't need to go anywhere. But any parting words you have for us, Tiara, if we'll start with you, for anyone interested in applying?
Sure. So going into this internship, you guys should keep an open mind. Don't be afraid to ask any questions and try not to box yourself in.
Those are great parting words, especially if you, like me, have a real funny background and have no idea how healthcare could possibly be a door for your future. Thank you, Tiara. Miss Inez, any last words for our potential applicants here?
Yeah, I think I would say, you know what, take some of the pressure off and have fun.
Yes.
And just try. You see something you're interested, try. You doesn't have to work, doesn't have to be right, just try. And really, again, just breathe through it and enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. It's so funny that we have to remind ourselves to have fun sometimes. We think it's an end all be all. If I don't get a job at Ochsner, if I don't get this internship right now, that's it. My career is not going where I wanted it to go. But let me tell y'all, every single person on this call can probably tell you a story about a time where something didn't work out like they thought, and that was the best thing that ended up happening. I personally was planning to leave Louisiana, and then I saw the opportunity at Ochsner and I thought, well, let me just see. And I was a patient of Ochsner's, and I felt really strongly that if the opportunity was right, maybe I would work here. Well, that was almost 2 years ago now, and now I'm really stuck. So now I can't imagine being somewhere else. And it was just a shot in the dark at that time in my life. So, I think that was great advice, Inez, thinking about this would be a great opportunity. And if it works out, it's fabulous. You don't have to end in healthcare just because you start here either. Or if you don't get the chance to do the internship year and you're able to apply in another year, fantastic. We'll see you next year. We would just love to keep you excited about the future and show you that there are way more doors open for you than you probably realize, even in the middle of COVID, y'all, even in the middle of COVID. Ashley, any last words for our applicants as they're thinking through how to apply and how to stand out?
I think at the end of the day, I think something to highlight is kind of being your own advocate, really selling yourself. What is your why? What is your passion? And trying to get that on the piece of paper that is your application. Sometimes it's just thinking through, schoolwork courses that really spoke to you as your passions and highlighting that, but really being your own advocate and speaking up for yourself.
Absolutely. I think when, students, as you're thinking through, How am I supposed to do that on a resume, or how am I supposed to do that on an application? My best advice to you as a career coach is to speak it out loud to a friend of yours, or press record on your phone recording device or your laptop device, or just tell it to your mom. Just say out loud, what's your story? And if you had our CEO, Werner Thomas, in the elevator with you, the guy who holds the keys to knowing if you could get a job or not, right? He's the top guy. What would you tell him about yourself? What are the things you would say in 30 seconds? Say that phrase out loud and start to adjust from there. What is important to you, and what do you bring to the table? What are you interested in long term? What makes you alive in the morning and wake up and get motivated? Those are the things we want to know. It's great to put in a cover letter, or I'm not sure, Faye, if it's an application letter of intent or something, but in any place where you can write a narrative form, that's the best place to put all of that passion and drive that we're looking for. Now, panelists, I'm going to let you guys go, and Faye and I will stay here to continue answering a few more questions. Thank you all for your time. I know the students have really appreciated all your personal input, and students, hang on, we'll be with you for a few more minutes. Thank you, panelists. Yes, send all your thanks to them as they roll up. All right. All right. So,
Look at the gratitude and appreciation.
know.
And oh my gosh, thank you guys for being with us today. We appreciate you.
I know it's been it's really nice to see all the thanks. And if you guys, again, if you need to stay on, I wanted to give everyone the chance to roll off just in time. I get one person who asked, and I think we answered this, is the youngest you can be to apply a current college junior? And I think that answer is yes, Faye, but if you have another response, let us know.
No, that is correct.
Okay, perfect. But I will say.
But that is, I'm sorry, Ashley, I'm so sorry to interrupt. That is for the internship. Again, that is not for any other part-time positions for the summer throughout Ochsner.
Right, exactly. And so if you are interested in getting opportunities to interact with professionals from Ochsner, there are other ways that we can make that happen for you. And one thing in particular is to, first of all, ask your teachers and ask your parents, ask any adult in your life, do you know anyone who works at Ochsner? That's one really great way to do that, because you could say, I'm looking to break into healthcare, or I'm looking to learn more about someone's job. Another way to do that is to have a LinkedIn account. That LinkedIn account, if you haven't used it yet, is a professional networking resource. And what it does is it connects all of your connections together and their connections to you. So everyone's able to see, who might I know who works at this company and what's their job? And that's a great way to find people that are in the industries you're interested in, and you can send them a message directly on LinkedIn. You can ask them to spend a little time over the phone getting to know their jobs. That's what we call an informational interview. Those are all ways to do it. And while normally we would also have a volunteer program live in the middle of COVID, we have suspended that. As far as I still recall, that is still currently suspended. If we're able to achieve vaccinations at the rate we hope to for the country, maybe we'll be able to reopen that by the time the summer comes around. So ask your teachers, ask your parents, ask your friends' parents, ask anyone if they know people at Ochsner to help get you connected. That's always my number one tool, is to just meet more people. Domenica asked, are interns working together within the departments? And absolutely, Faye, right? I mean,
yeah. So what we are going to attempt to do is to bring the interns together for their training. So we have weekly training scheduled for the entire group of interns. And so they'll be able to connect, and they'll be able to, just kind of get to know each other. They do onboarding together. And then in some instances, some of the departments are taking 2 or 3 interns. So, they'll be able to have a lot of collaboration and networking together.
Right. See, Jenny asked a question about working on communities and meetings, so I'm going to say that is done.
Yeah, if I can, I'll elaborate a little bit since we still
Okay.
have a little more time, if I can. Mentors will be providing interns with a project that they'll be working on throughout their 8 weeks, and they'll be able to present that out to that department that they're in and all the leaders in that department. So very exciting opportunity that they're going to be in front of, these leaders, and the leaders are going to be able to provide them, instant feedback to help continue to develop them for future, hopefully with actual future career opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for expanding on that for me, Faye. Emily Levine, I see you've asked about roles in statistics or data or analyzation. I would encourage you to join us for the event tomorrow to learn a little bit more. The answer is yes, the IS internship will have some opportunities in that sort of capacity. Since you're currently pursuing your master's, it might be that you might find a full-time position that would be more relevant for you. But certainly, I would encourage you to join tomorrow's event. And once I can get unshared here, get my screen share off, I will get us into, I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to get us into sending you the link so that you can have the link to register for tomorrow's event, but it is also on our Facebook page. So that should be good. Let me stop sharing. There we go. All right. Well, Miss Faye, I'm going to wrap us up here at the 10 a.m. mark. Students, if you have any more questions, you've seen that Miss Faye put her email in the chat, and you can certainly send her questions that way. I'd also encourage you to go ahead and apply for the position. It's on our careers page. I had that QR code up for, gosh, about half an hour. But I'll put the link to the careers page here in the chat so you guys remember. Oh, look, and thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin put the registration link for tomorrow's event. She's a rock star. And we'll put the link to, it's just ochsner.org/careers, and you type in Catalyst. I'm putting that in the chat right now. And that's where you can find both the IS and this opportunity on our Workday page. Thank you, attendees, so much. We're thrilled to have gotten to talk to you and hear your questions. Thrilled to hear all of the different qualities that you told us about in the chat. And we look forward to seeing your applications come through in the next few weeks. We'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thanks again. Thanks, Ashley, so much.
Thank you.